tell us about the award of the namesake of today's breakfast, I'd like to bring up Ed Mangianello from the class of '54. Ed was a lineman on the Brandeis football team, a two-time captain, twice All-New England Small College All-Star. Ed was inducted into the Brandeis Hall of Fame in 1995, the same year as Charlie Napoli. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Mangianello.
When I received this speech, I read it over and I put it someplace where I couldn't leave without it because it was in a prominent place in my apartment. And lo and behold, when I was looking for it this morning, it wasn't there. So, fortunately for you, I found it on the way. It was in this pocket. And if you would like to hear some humor, I'm afraid I can't abide it because my doctor and I conferred, and my doctor said, Ed, would you begin as humor, ends as tragedy? So unfortunately, I'm afraid I won't be able to do that. Let me see. Yeah. See that? I forgot. I'd like to spice this up a little bit. We welcome the Charlie's family, who have been present at every Charlie's breakfast since its inception. Would you please stand? Probably wouldn't have happened, and it's wonderful that you're here. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's an honor for me to be called upon to award the prestigious Charlie Napoli Distinguished Achievement Award, which is given to a student athlete alum who has contributed in some way to the Friends of Brandeis. But first, I'd like to tell you a few things about Charlie Napoli, for whom this breakfast is named. Charlie came to Brandeis in 1954 with a love for football and was starting left tackle for 3 years, serving as co-captain in a senior with Maurice Stein, number 35 behind me. I hope it's behind me. All right. He was the epitome of a student athlete with excellent performances on the gridiron and in the classroom. He graduated in 1958 and continued his love affair with Brandeis for the next 31 years after his untimely death in 1989. The university honored his memory with the naming of the Napoli Room in the Gossman Center. And FOBA commissioned the creation of the bronze bust of Charlie to be displayed there. The bust, by the way, was sculpted as a labor of love by Dick Baldacci, the captain of the 1955 football team, who played left guard next to Charlie. He also sculpted the Benny Friedman, and he also sculpted the Dick McKenna. In 1972, Charlie took a leadership role in the founding of FOBA. By that, I mean he personally reached out to the athletes from the decade of the 50s and organized a meeting at which FOBA came into being. With Charlie as president, his purpose was to contribute from alumni to enhance the athletic program. As evidence of Charlie's dedication to what he had started, it was said by an earlier athletic director that after FOBA came into existence, Charlie knew every kid who ever went through the program. After graduating from Brandeis, Charlie first had a brief professional football career with the Montreal Alouettes, the Canadian Football League. He became a social science teacher after serving as an assistant at Brandeis before the football program was terminated in 1960. He coached at Rockland and Newburyport High Schools in Massachusetts. He then went on to teach at Keene, New Hampshire, where he became principal of the high school and was later named the New Hampshire Principal of the Year by the National Association of Secondary School Principals. During those years, Charlie served Brandeis in many ways, highlighted by his presence on the President's Alumni Association Advisory Council, and his chairmanship of both the 15th and the 20th reunion committees of his class. In 1981, he was made a Fellow of the University. In 1987, he was appointed an Alumni Term Trustee, a position he held until his death. And that was a very prestigious position that he held. It was just, he was a layman, and he became a trustee. Charlie's big dream, his passion, was to have Brandeis build a new athletic facility, and he lobbied for it every year. Finally, then President Evelyn Handler recommended it to the board, and the Gossman Center became a reality, opening in April of 1992. Unfortunately, Charlie never got to see the building he had championed for so long. In his 1995, he was posthumously inducted into the Hall of Fame. Those are some of the facts about Charlie Napoli, and I thank Bob Weintraub for them. The ones who would find in the various articles written about him, but for everyone who was fortunate enough to know him, he was a loving friend, a generous person who always greeted you with a smile, and a bear hug, and someone who never needed a quid pro quo to welcome you into his huddle. I know I would now like to present the Charlie Napoli Distinguished Achievement Award, and I thank Bob Weintraub for this, for the facts. Tim Morehouse, the 2014 Charlie Napoli Distinguished Achievement Award, will be presented to Tim Morehouse from the class of 2000. Adam Levin, I appreciate your contribution here. Tim has won numerous awards for his fencing accomplishments over the years, not the least of which was a silver medal in the 2008 Olympics. His Brandeis Hall of Fame induction in 2009. But an award named after Charlie is given for so much more than that, and Tim has embodied what Charlie stood for. After he graduated from Brandeis, Tim joined For America to Help Give Back. It was an organization for the purpose of giving back to people. And in 2011, he founded his Fencing in the School initiative with a mission to empower youth to achieve excellence through the sport of fencing. Fencing in the schools already serves more than 10,000 students with programs in 7 states. Thanks to Tim's efforts, the program has been featured at the White House Easter egg hunt and on the Intel website for its innovative use of technology. Tim's ultimate goal is to have 1 million American children involved in fencing by the year 2023. I would like to give this award, please, to Tim Morehouse. Not with my glasses. Great.
Thank you again for having me here. Thank you to the Napoli family, Mr. Ed, for that amazing introduction. I also want to thank one more group. I feel like a lot of people have gotten to stand up and be embarrassed today, so we can't let this breakfast go without embarrassing our coaches as well. So do you mind if the coaches stand up? Can we get you guys to stand up? Respect they deserve. I see this now with fencing in the schools where PE programs and school teams are being cut across the country, and I think we all know in this room how much an impact our coaches have had in our lives. And Coach Shipman isn't here, but on behalf of Coach Shipman and everyone else, the coaches, thank you for all the work that you do with our students. It's a huge impact on our lives, and my memories of Brandeis are very fond, and a lot of that is Coach Shipman's impact on me here. I also have to say, Jim, that I applied late to Brandeis, and I just called Jim, Mike Coven, excuse me, and Mike just said no problem. So Mike's known as the Don at admission office. Whatever you need, if you need friends getting applying to Brandeis, just send them. It doesn't matter what sport. That's the guy. So I want to thank and congratulate the seniors for making it not for making it through 4 years of Brandeis, but for making it here at 8:30 in the morning. Congratulations. I won't speak too long. I'm sure you have a busy day. I know you're probably going to go back and nap before the evening. Am I right? Am I right? I am right. I want to congratulate myself for making it here. Honorees have been dropping pretty quickly this year, so I made it. I'm proud of that. But when Adam called me and said they were honoring me with the Napoli Award, I was excited. Not just, obviously it's great to achieve an award, but I was most excited to come back and speak to the students that are here. And honestly, all the stuff that's going on doesn't matter, because the most important honoree of commencement weekend is you, the students. And I want to congratulate you, seriously though, on all your achievements, being Brandeis athletes, and on graduating on Sunday. So please, round of applause for our students. There are no professors here, but most of my memories of Brandeis are not of being in the classroom. They're of being with my teammates, of practicing, of games, of being with Coach Shipman. Really made my whole Brandeis life so much more enriched. And I think sports are such a huge part of Brandeis, and again, just an honor to be here with you. When I graduated Brandeis in 2000, I joined a program called Teach for America. And I was telling my kids they should be pursuing their dreams, and one of my students said back to me, Mr. Morehouse, you're pursuing your dreams. And I had always had this dream that I wanted to be an Olympian. And I thought, well, if I'm telling my kids to go for the Olympics, maybe I should walk, but my kids to go for their dreams, maybe I should walk the walk and pursue mine. So while I was teaching 7th grade social studies, I started practicing in the evenings to try to make the 04 Olympics. I graduated in 2000. And let me just tell you that people told me I was crazy. First of all, there had never been an Olympian from Brandeis in fencing, let alone and no sport. So people just told me I was crazy. They're like, Tim, what are you doing? Like, you went to a Division III school. There is no way you're making the Olympics. Not happening. And I was working full time. But I said, you know what? I'm telling my kids to pursue their dreams. I'm going to go for this. So I started training. I started traveling. And in order to make the Olympics, you have to travel overseas to all these World Cup tournaments. I'd never been to any of them. I went overseas after training really hard for my first year. Guess what happened? I lost really badly. And I came home and people told me, Tim, what are you doing? We told you what was going to happen. You were going to go get your butt kicked. And I did. Fencing matches under 15. I was scoring like 2 or 3 points during the first full year. But I said, you know what? This is my dream. I'm going to keep going for it. So I trained even harder my second year while I was teaching. Don't recommend doing Teach for America and going for the Olympics, by the way. You will not have much free time. And I trained again as hard as I could. I went back to all these World Cup tournaments my second year. Guess what happened? I lost more. And I came home and people just told me, Tim, it's getting ridiculous. It's 2 years, you're losing. Just to put this in context, you fly overseas for 10 hours. If you lose your first match, you competed for like 2 minutes. And then you come home. And you're paying for the flight yourself, you're paying for the hotel yourself. So really, this was absolutely crazy. But I kept going. A third year, I trained even harder, and I went back to these tournaments. Guess what happened? I finally won something. That was a good feeling. Losing is not fun, as we know. And I was sort of on my way. I ended up making the 04 Olympics. People thought I got lucky somehow. But I'll tell you something that's really interesting that happened over 4 years. And again, I was competing against mostly guys who had full scholarships to college, went to schools like Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State. More than half of those folks, more than half of the people, first of all, didn't even try to go for the Olympics. They thought it was too hard. And then another half, over the course of those 4 years, they just dropped out. The challenges were too great for them. They gave up. So just the mere fact that I was willing to keep going was a huge part of me making the Olympics. I was willing to, even in the losing, not give up. Even when it was really hard and I was getting blown out in all these matches, I just kept going and going and going. And the second thing that I really credit Brandeis for is no matter what was happening, I was always trying to learn. No matter what. Every tournament I went to, I felt I wasn't losing as long as I was learning something. And so I would watch what the best fencers were doing. I would try to learn as much as I could. If I only scored 3 points, I would try to figure out how I scored them and how I could do more of that and less of the things that were costing me points, and made the 04 team. And then after that, my teammates and I set a goal to try to win a medal at the Beijing Olympics. And people told us we were crazy. Just to put that in context, the last medal in our event was 1948. We were competing against full-time professional athletes. Basically, these guys trained all day long since they were kids. They didn't go to college. They just trained. From when they were kids, they were identified as athletes, and that's all they did. We were working like full-time real jobs or going to school as students, and people told us we had no chance of doing this. We went to the Olympics, and as you know, fencing is not a very popular sport. We're really known as being really good in basketball and track and field. So for fencing, it's like, how's the U.S. going to win medals in fencing? So the first round of the team match, we beat Hungary, a team we'd beaten like once in our entire history. And you don't lose to the U.S. in fencing, so they fired their head coach afterwards. They like made athletes retire. And then we were in the semifinals, and we were fencing Russia. They had the number 1 and number 2 fencers in the world. One guy had won 5 world championships, 3 gold medals, and he was like actually the second best guy on their team. We hadn't won any medals, we hadn't won any world championships, but we all believed in ourselves, we pulled together, and we pulled off really a miracle in defeating the Russian team and making it to the finals. Just no one thought we could do this. 1948 was the last medal in our event. And I tell this story a lot. It's actually on video if you want to check it out. But when my teammates scored the final point to send us to the finals, I actually fainted at the Olympics. And you can actually see me in the video. I started running, and I actually passed out while I was running. So you'll see me, I reach him, and then we're like in a huddle together. I'm completely unconscious. No one knows. They break away, and I go like straight down to the ground. And I don't know if any of you have ever celebrated by laying on the floor. My teammates thought I was celebrating. They actually jumped on top of me. And then I just got up like 5 seconds later. Like no one knew that I passed out for like days later. You are my hero. We're playing. We're like hugging and crying, Mom. It was just like, how often literally do you see a dream coming true before your eyes? And it was huge. And so that one was amazing. And I'm really proud to share that and to have been, Brandeis' first Olympian, first medalist. It is a bit lonely when you're the only guy from your school, so I just want to encourage you all to join me in making the Olympics in the future. And as powerful as that was, I think honestly, just like finding sports was actually the most powerful moment of my life. Now, as I look back, I was so fortunate to have fencing really changed my life. I was a kid that mumbled. I was a kid not doing well in school. And when I started fencing, something about the sport just really changed something in me. It changed who I was. That's why I've really dedicated my life now to providing more opportunities for kids to experience fencing. But really, it's about sports overall. I think there's so much sports has to offer the youth in our country. And that's why, I'm in that fight. That's why the first thing I wanted to say thank you to is our coaches, because they're some of our most powerful teachers in this country. And if you talk to people who have gone through a competitive team, they will tell you the biggest lessons they learned in their life came from being on those sports teams. And we got to make sure that more kids have those opportunities. I want to make sure more kids have the opportunity to fence, and I want to make sure more kids have the opportunity to play sports and learn. Because I think there's only so much you can learn sitting in a classroom. In sports, you get to learn how to deal with emotions. You get to learn how to really work with people. You get to learn how to deal with winning and losing, and you get to figure out strategy. These are all real practical skills that will help you far beyond the playing field if you want to start a business, be an entrepreneur, succeed at whatever it is you want to do. And so, I want to thank again the Brandeis community for having me back. I love Brandeis University. We're all very, very fortunate and lucky to have gone to such a great place. You guys are going to be set up in amazing ways for life. And I hope to see you guys around again. And congratulations again to our graduating seniors. And thank you again for having me here today.
Seen the video, it's really good. Is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
I kind of look around.
Definitely check it out. It's very fun. Thanks, Tim. So thanks to everyone here. Thanks to graduating seniors for letting us be part of your commencement weekend. And congratulations on a wonderful achievement. Congratulations also to the parents. They're done. Really, congratulations. I appreciate this so much more now than 16 years ago when I started doing the work. One logistical note to the graduating seniors: you see around the room are photographs of you. Take them. We like them, but you like them more. I kind of scoop myself. Usually I close with the comments I gave earlier. So there's not much left to say, but just to reiterate, don't let this be the end of your Brandeis experience. This is a wonderful place. You are part of it. You are part of the fabric that makes the Brandeis community. Think about the challenges you had as an athlete here. Think about the wonderful experiences you had. If there was stuff that you thought could be better, make it better. If there was stuff you enjoyed, make sure it continues. Be involved. It is incredibly rewarding. But you have a beautiful weekend, so go and enjoy. And congratulations on graduating from Brandeis.